So hey everyone, and in this video we are going to learn about JavaScript. So this is actually the part 1 of JavaScript, and we are going to cover the basics of JavaScript, and in the next video we are going to perform some advanced operations like asynchronous operations and OOPS concepts. So let's begin. So JavaScript is a text-based programming language that is used for both client-side and server-side that allows developers to create dynamically updating content, use animations, pop-up menus, clickable buttons, control multimedia, etc. It's one of the core technologies of the World Wide Web alongside HTML and CSS. So you can take it as an example. So if your basic structure of website is created using HTML, you use CSS for the decoration, and you can use JavaScript for the logical tasks like sending data to backend or what must happen when you click a button. For all these tasks, you actually use JavaScript with your HTML page. So here are some of the benefits of using JavaScript. It is a lightweight language that can easily be embedded in the HTML pages. It's a cross-platform language that is used for any kind of device with a web browser, that is either a website, in a computer, or in a mobile. Both would work. So it's a powerful language that can be used to create complex web applications. It is a popular language with a large community of developers, so there are many resources available to help you learn and use it. Okay, so you would be using JavaScript a lot in MERN stack, that is your MongoDB would be using the JavaScript object notation format. Then your Express.js and Node.js both are based on JavaScript, and you would be using these for your backend. Then React.js is also based on JavaScript along with HTML and CSS, so you would be using JavaScript in React.js also. Okay, so I hope you got a very basic overview why are we using JavaScript and why you must know JavaScript. Okay, now let's see what are the topics which you must know in JavaScript before continuing with MERN stack. Okay, so the complete MERN stack is actually based on JavaScript, so you must know JavaScript completely. But here are some important concepts which any developer must know. Okay, so starting with variables and data types, then we would learn about operators, then control structures, then functions, then arrays, then objects, then OOPS, then asynchronous JavaScript, then error handling, and then fetch, and then we'll talk about this keyword. Okay, so all these concepts would be covered in the two videos. First video would actually cover variables and data types, then operators, then control structures and functions. In next video we would be covering another concept like arrays, objects, OOPS, asynchronous JavaScript, error handling, fetch, and this keyword. Okay, so let's begin with the JavaScript code. So I'll just create a new folder, and here guys I'll just simply right click, new folder, and I'll just name this folder as JS, and I'm going to write the complete JS code here so that it's saved for some reference. Okay, so guys, I have opened this in VS Code. If you haven't installed VS Code, you can watch my specific video which I have created for VS Code installation, and you can refer that. Okay, so now let's continue with the very first thing which you must know, that is variables and data types. Okay, so guys, what we'll do is we'll simply create a new file here, index.html, and inside this I'm going to use this shortcut. Then let me just say we have h1 tag, and I'll just say my website works. Okay, so I think this is fine. And now when you want to write JavaScript, what you actually do is you usually write it inside a script tag. So you usually write it like this. Okay, so this is the way of writing JavaScript. So first of all, I would like to show you a very basic thing. Right now I'm going to tell you what is a variable, then I'll also explain you how you can write JavaScript in different kind of methods. Okay, so first method is you would be writing JavaScript in your HTML page. Second method is actually you would be creating a script.js file and you would be writing your code here. So first of all, let's explore this while understanding what are variables. Okay, so there are fundamental JavaScript concepts which you always use. One of them is variables and data types. So variables and data types are actually fundamental concepts in programming, including JavaScript. They are building blocks of storing and manipulating data within your programs. A variable is a named container that holds a value. It allows you to store and manage data that can be used and manipulated throughout your code. In JavaScript, you can declare variables using 3 keywords. Okay, so first of all, first kind of keyword which you would often see is the var keyword, then you would see the let keyword, then you would see the const keyword. All these 3 are actually used to declare variables first of all. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about var keyword. So suppose you want to store some value. I'll just say where, and my variable name is suppose ABC. Okay, this is my variable name. You can also give some number, and this is a method for declaring a variable with the variable name first of all. Then you can give it some value. So either I can give it a string like this, or I can give it a string like, for example, suppose my variable name is HJ, and I can give it a number also, or I can give it a boolean value also, or I can give it some other decimal value also. Okay, for example, I can give it a boolean value like true, or I can give it a value like false, or I can give it a decimal value like 12.2. Okay, or I can give it a null value also. Null value simply says that right now I don't know what would come inside edges, so I would simply pass null inside this. Okay, so this is known as null. But if I don't give this any value, now edge is undefined. Okay, now edge is undefined, so there's a difference. If you define it as null, then it would be null, else by default it is undefined. Okay, so right now I know that these are the methods for declaring a variable. First of all, we talk about where. So you can see where is very easy, and that's how you can define a variable. So if I want to print a variable, what I can do is I would simply write console.log abc123. So it would actually print that value, or wherever you want to show that value, you can use this variable there. But right now I just want to print this value, where it would print. So you have to simply first of all install an extension if you haven't. So you can simply go to extensions, then search for live server. You would get this, and you have to install this. After installing, simply click on go live, and it would open the page in a browser. So right now guys, as you can see, I have opened this, and automatically this would open in your browser. I would just inspect, and you can see that this somewhat this kind of thing actually opens up. Now you can simply go to console, and here you can see guys, we have hello world. Okay, so hello world is simply the variable value. So suppose you change the value, if you just say that it's 1 to 3, so you would get 1 to 3. Okay, so whatever you want, if you just, right now it's a string, right? It's a string. If you make it a number, it would be like this. What is a string? String is just a single character, or a word, or a complete sentence, or a paragraph, whatever you can imagine. Okay, so string is like you would be just containing some paragraphs, some words, or some sentences, multiple paragraphs, and so on. Okay, so whatever you want, you are just containing them inside single or double inverted commas. So if I write it like this, hello world, this is a string. If I write it like this is also known as a string. If I write it with the backticks, okay, it's actually with the escape button you would see in your keyboard. So if I write it like this is again a variable. Okay, this is again a variable. And one more thing, for example, I have one more variable. I'll just say my val equals 1 2 3. Suppose I have some value like this. It can be a string also, doesn't matter. I want to show this variable inside this. How can I do this? First of all, your variable must be defined with backticks. This only works with backticks. So I have backticks, and then I write the dollar sign, and then you can pass any variable you want. So if I write my val, it would give you the value of the variable along with the string. Okay, so now this variable actually now became a string, and now inside is a string. Okay, so that's how you are going to show one variable inside another. So first of all, some basics of variable declaration have been covered. Now one more very important thing. So let me just fix this again. One more very important thing. First of all, you can see that I have declared a variable. This is known as declaration. Once you write the keyword, then variable name, then the value. This is known as declaration of variable. In the where keyword, I can redeclare the variable with the same name. Okay, so if I write where ABC, and if I just give it some other value like 1 2 3, you can see that the variable name is same, but the value is different. That means initially the value of ABC was hello world. So if I just print value of ABC, first you would get hello world, then I changed it to 1 2 3. Okay, so this is only allowed in where. If you try to redeclare a variable with the same name, this is allowed in where. And if I talk about let keyword, okay, if I talk about let keyword, so it's same as where, but in let you are not allowed to redeclare a variable with same name. Okay, so in the case of let, you are not allowed. You would get an error, identify ABC has already been declared. Okay, but if you are using something like this, if you just want to change the value, this is allowed. That means I'm not redeclaring ABC, I'm just changing the value of ABC. This is allowed in let. Okay, but Now if I talk about const, so let me just make it first of all normal. This was the problem with let. So now let's talk about const. So again, const has the same problem, that is you can't redeclare the variable with same name. Okay, you can't redeclare the variable with same name. Okay, this is the problem. One more thing with const is you can't even change the value. Okay, if you just want to change the value, this is also not allowed in const. You can see first I gave it value hello world, then I tried to get the new value 1 2 3. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. That means you can't change the value. Okay, so this is the problem with const. So where can do anything, that means you can redeclare a variable with same value or you can change the value. Let can just change the value, you can't redeclare the variable with same name. Const can't redeclare the variable and also can't change the value of a variable. Okay, so these are the three differences. You can play along and you can learn more about this. In some particular situations you would be using three in some separate situations.